It's my 5th year anniversary on YouTube, and it's been almost 4 years since I uploaded the video about the white Think of Me dress from the Phantom of the Opera movie, so I thought to celebrate I was going to do a little retrospective thing. First of all, I have to give the 2004 movie a little bit of credit, because it did spark my interest in movie costumes, and I was quite obsessed with it for a time. And even though I've grown not to really like it anymore ever since, I still need to give it credit for that. So just to give this a little perspective, I think I was 16 or 17 when I started this. And I had cosplayed as the Phantom of the Opera before, so I was Christine in the Leia scene from the movie, and a friend of mine was the Phantom. We entered a costume contest and a sexy nurse won. Go figure. Anyway, I was pretty young when I did this, and you can just see I had made one costume before, and then I started this ridiculous project. I mean, you can see I'm not I don't have the crinoline right now because I deconstructed it. It was taking up way too much space. And let's go into detail here, shall we? This part I think I did quite well, considering how young and inexperienced I was. I had these sparkling stones, and I tried to recreate the star pattern, and I put them onto some transparent flesh-colored stretchy fabric, which was a really bad idea. That was so tough, and it was really hard to sew here with the sewing machine. I wasn't even so good with the sewing machine back then, and I had trouble creating this V-shape here because stretch fabric doesn't do that. So in here there's a little stretchy string thing that I attached just to keep it in place. And yeah, I quite liked it with the tulle here. I had only promotional shots from the movie, so I stalked the hell out of this dress online, and I watched the movie so often, and I still didn't get certain things right, but the sleeves I definitely did get quite right. And they still look nice. You can see there are some sparkly stones and some tulle on top of it. So yeah, this is quite nice, and now we go lower, and this is where it starts getting really bad. I hand stitched this part of the bodice, and you can tell I wasn't very good at hand stitching back then, or at sewing in general. I don't know, I tried to make it up as I was going, and that wasn't the best of ideas, admittedly. This was a really expensive costume, and I only had a really small allowance back then, so I bought these sparkling stones that you can iron onto fabrics, and I spent like 200 bucks on those. And that's not even including the tulle and the fabric and all, I don't know, the eyelets and everything. It's just 200 bucks on these stones, so I was pretty poor for a while because I had spent so much money. And you see, I never even finished them. I stopped with this dress because it got way too expensive with all those sparkling stones, because I thought, looking at the promotional pictures, that all the stars on the dress were made up out of these sparkling stones. And you know, there are quite some big stars on there. And recently, on a website, I'm going to put the link in the credits, I found some images that someone took at an exhibition, and I found out that it's not all sparkly stones. I was such an idiot to assume that, and I wanted to do it right, and I bought all these sparkling stones for way too much money. And for real, the big stars consist out of sequins and golden thread that's woven into the tulle on top. I could have had this so much cheaper. You can't imagine how disappointed I was. This was just terrible. Anyway, I asked the person who owns the website whether I could use some of her images, so I'm going to put them back to back with images of my own dress, and then you can see the difference. Yeah, it's very nice of that lady to allow me to use the images, just to show you how crappy this dress actually was. I didn't even finish up the tulle skirt. Every time I wore it, I just attached it with needles so that it fits right onto my person. Anyway, let's go to these things. Whatever these things were, I didn't even see them the first time I started considering to sew this dress. Just tails, I guess, so she's like a bird. I don't know. Anyway, I messed up so badly. See, this is what I thought the trimming looked like. It didn't at all. I can show you a picture. But I did get really creative, so this is bias binding that had just the right color that I thought it had in the movie, which it didn't, but anyway. And I thought there was some kind of silvery thing around what is bias binding here. I used nail polish. I just made it sparkly with nail polish. That is so silly now I think about it. Points for creativity, yay! Anyway, so then I thought the sparkling down here was all those little sparkly stones. Turns out it wasn't. You know how much money in sparkling stones is on this? You've got no idea. It's so terrible now I think of it. All this stuff I could have bought instead. Anyway, it's lace. It's just normal silverish lace. Yeah. I felt so stupid. And what I did, I don't have them on right now, instead of the silvery tassels that you can just buy that happen to be on the dress, I made tassels out of this white fabric and I glued all those sparkling stones onto the lower edge. And I wanted to attach that. More sparkling stones. Yay! Even though I have to say this star turned out kind of nice. Yeah, and this fabric here, some kind of plastic stuff, it's not even the color that it was in the movie. You just couldn't tell from the promotional shots. Yeah, so anyway, that was pretty bad, I guess. Yeah, I felt a bit stupid when I found those images online and I found out, yeah, this really expensive dress project you had, which you abandoned, it's all wrong. You completely messed up. Hooray! Oh, aside from that, something I didn't even notice when I was looking at the promotional shoots, I was thinking, what's up with these white bits? And then it turns out it was just this bit here folded so they could put it around the corner. But it was sparkling in the light and was kind of silvery, so it looked like there was just something left out. I made this way too complicated. Then here's the back part, and you can see I had no idea what the heck I was doing. With the lacing here, you can see it's all coming apart already, because I only used 2 layers of this fabric. It's nothing more, and I had no idea how to do the lacing and everything, so it's kind of flimsy, and you can see the seams, they're not really very good. They're not even all on the same height. Yeah, it's kind of unsymmetrical. I learned so much doing this dress, but it was a gigantic waste of money and time and effort. So I'm glad I did it, but at the same time I'm not. Then also there's a difference in the movie costume. This isn't there, so there's no lacing here. I tried to put lacing into this stretchy fabric. Worst idea ever, so I had to put this white stuff here so that I could close it. In the movie, I don't know how they do it. You can only close it up until here. Oh, I have an image of that too. I don't know how they close the dress, to be quite honest. Yeah, and in case you couldn't tell, the bodice didn't turn out so well. It looks okay if I wear it. I made it so that it fits on me, and it stretches everything out almost properly, but yeah, on the sewing doll it doesn't really look so good. And yeah, sleeves once more. What's good with the sleeves, I attach them on the inside too so that they stay puffy. And this is the way we learn. We are obsessed with the movie and we spend a lot of effort and time and money on it, and in the end it turns out it was completely useless because the dress didn't even resemble the real dress so much. By the way, I would have a gigantic bone to pick with this movie and the costumes, because this dress in particular, this is a new spin on a dress that Elizabeth of Austria wore at some point. So I really liked that when I was 17. It was sexy and sparkly and flashy and whatever. And then I learned more about the stage show and costumes in general and opera and whatnot. And I went back and I was like, why the heck was this dress in this scene? It makes no sense whatsoever, aside from, we want a really sparkly thing that kind of looks like another really famous thing. Yeah, that's about it. So I could rant about the movie costumes, about how they're way too sexed up, and there was a comment on a website that was saying, oh, they're so good cause, like C-U-Z, cause they show what the Phantom is really about. And you look at the movie and you're like, so it's about a really sexed up 17-year-old who goes anywhere in her underwear in the Victorian times and who can't choose between two 30-year-old-ish stalkers. Yay. Yeah. You can tell I grew up a little ever since I was into that movie. Just saying. So, but there's this website that has already analyzed the costumes from that movie. So if you want to be amused, just read that. And I have to say, I agree with the person who made this website, because they just have a point. But the comments on this website are hilarious. If you want to be entertained, read those. It's amazing. Anyway, that's it from me.
Na Kiki, was machst du da? Hm? Versteckst du dich in meinem Kleid? Hm? Das ist ein guter Ort für eine Katze, hm? Jo. Schön da, ne?